This is the cell phone signal booster for home that covers up to 3,000 square feet, designed to boost 4G and 5G signals with a maximum gain of 65 dB. It's compatible with all US carriers, like T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and several others. Just looking at it, the device itself feels pretty compact. It's not bulky at all, about the size of a small book, and the material feels solid and sturdy in my hand. There's a small screen on the front that displays the status, and ports on the side for both the outdoor and indoor antennas as well as the power input. The overall look is modern and clean, and it doesn't really stand out too much if you have it in your living room or a home office. From my experience, the main pain point that led me to test out this cell phone signal booster was the constant struggle with weak cellular signal at home. My place isn't huge, but it's just far enough from the nearest cell tower that I'd constantly lose bars, sometimes down to 1 or 2 on my phone. It was especially frustrating when trying to make calls, send texts, or stream anything online. And don't get me started on the annoyance of calls dropping right in the middle of a conversation. So, when I got my hands on this device, I'll be honest, I was both hopeful and a little skeptical. I've tried a couple of boosters before and always ran into either complicated setup or not much improvement. But I figured, let's give this one a proper try and see how it performs in daily life. Setting up was smoother than I expected. Everything that you need comes in the box: a user manual, the actual signal booster, an outdoor antenna, 2 indoor antennas. One is a panel for broader coverage, and the other is a whip antenna for smaller or mobile spaces, some waterproof tape, a bunch of mounting hardware, a power supply, and several coaxial cables. If you're brand new to this, don't worry. The included manual is clear, plus there's an app you can download, which really made a difference for me. After plugging everything in, the app guided me to add my device and walked me through each step, connecting the antennas, figuring out the best place for the outdoor antenna, and even helping me link up the Wi-Fi for remote monitoring. Key features of this booster that stood out to me were the app support and the 2 types of indoor antennas that you can choose from. If you have a bigger space, the panel antenna works better because it covers more area. If you just need to boost the signal in one spot, the whip antenna is perfect. The outdoor antenna is where most of the magic happens. It pulls in the signal from outside, and you need to place it as high up and as far from the indoor antenna as you can. I set mine up on a ladder outside my second-floor window, about 30 feet away from the main booster. This distance is important because it stops the antennas from interfering with each other, which can reduce the effectiveness of the booster. Before I switched on the system, I ran a quick speed test on my phone. On Verizon's 4G, I was barely scraping by, at about 7.5 Mbps download speed, with a pretty bad signal, only a bar or 2. After hooking up the booster and making sure everything was in the right spot, the improvement was obvious. My phone picked up more bars right away. When I ran the test again, I got over 60 Mbps download speed. That's almost 10 times faster than before. For basic stuff like calls, texts, and checking emails, it was already a huge relief. But I also noticed I could stream videos, join video calls, and upload photos without the connection dropping. One thing I like about this booster is they don't need to be super techy to set it up. The Hiboost app helps you figure out the best placement, and the display screen shows basic info like signal strength and status. The whole process from start to finish took me under 2 hours, even with setting up the antenna outside and getting the cables where they needed to go. A quick review of the downside. Even though the product is pretty quiet most of the time, when I turned the booster up to higher settings to reach the furthest rooms, I could hear a soft hum coming from the unit. It's not loud, but if you're really sensitive to background noise, it's something to think about. Also, while the coverage is impressive for a 3,000 square feet area, I did notice that if you have a lot of thick walls or metal between the booster and your devices, the signal drop-off is noticeable at the edges of the coverage zone. If your house is larger or has weird layouts, you might have to experiment with antenna placement or consider more than one booster. The energy efficiency seems decent. After having it plugged in around the clock, I didn't notice any spikes in my electricity bill. Maintenance is pretty straightforward. Just occasionally check the outdoor antenna and make sure all the cables are still firmly connected and not weather damaged. I'd recommend this for anyone dealing with consistently weak signals at home, whether it's a suburban house, an apartment with thick walls, a home office, or even a metal building like a detached garage or shop. It supports a bunch of different frequency bands used by all the popular carriers. It also claims to support 5G by connecting through the 4G bands, which worked fine with my newer phone, though I'd still check with your carrier to be sure your specific area and phone model are compatible. What I also appreciate is the customer support. There's a 3-year warranty with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you do have some peace of mind. The support line was easy to reach, and they helped me with a couple of questions during setup. The app has live support features too, super helpful if you run into technical issues or need guidance on what to do next. In my opinion, the cell phone signal booster for home is worth the investment. If you rely on your cell phone for calls, work, or data at home and are tired of dropped calls and slow connections. For most people with those frustrations, it's perfect for bringing reliable service indoors without much hassle. It's not a magic fix, and placement matters, but it absolutely delivers better, more stable signal once everything's dialed in. In conclusion, I found this product lives up to the hype. It solved my main problem of having a weak signal and made daily phone use way less stressful. The installation might seem intimidating for beginners, but the clear instructions and smart app support make it manageable, and the results are hard to ignore. If you've been struggling with spotty cellular coverage and want a real fix, this booster could be exactly what you need. If you like this quick review, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop your questions or experiences in the comments. Thank you for watching.